Your daily Bitcoin and Litecoin update. Are we headed for new all-time highs in 2019? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Monday, and I hope you had a great weekend. We're going to take a look at the chart, starting off with Litecoin, moving on to Bitcoin. Then we're going to take a look at my favorite chart comparison, the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly, and see how that's playing out and why I still believe we're headed to 46,000 by the end of the year. So definitely stick around to the end to check that out. Also, I want to remind you guys, there's a 100% free Discord group. Awesome community, guys. The link is in the description below the video. Definitely check it out. There's also some affiliate links in there that really help the channel out. If you want to use them, there's some exchange links in there that get some bonuses when you make a deposit on them. So definitely check those out. And let's get into the charts and see what's going on, guys. Alright guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind, it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. With that being said, if you're new here and you want to keep up with the daily updates, definitely hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed. Then if you tick that notification bell, that'll get you notified anytime I post new videos, as I do post videos every day and keep everybody updated. So definitely do that. Also, smash the likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think of the video. And yeah, let's see what's going on. So we're looking at Litecoin on the weekly here, and we've been watching this hidden bullish divergence here, which we're getting higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI. That's hidden bullish divergence, and I've been calling for a move up, and I think we're seeing that now. Let's look at the daily. All right, so let's take a look at my longer term targets here. And we've been watching this as a cup and a handle, and I know people have been asking, you know, what's the cup and handle? I'll show you. This is the cup. And this is, I believe, we're forming the handle here. I'm going to get that off there. And if we were to break back above this 146, which I believe we will, the measured move off the cup and handle is 271 range. I do definitely believe we're headed that direction. And it's not to say we go straight up. Obviously, we're going to have a bunch of resistance on the way, but that is the target off of the cup and handle, and that's not my end of the year target. If Bitcoin hits 46,000, I see Litecoin around 500 to 1,000, and the more data we get, the easier it'll be to see where that high may end up. So let's look at the RSI and see what's going on there. So we were following this rising channel since back in November, and we fell out of it in a falling channel. If you guys been following along, we have been watching this falling broadening wedge here, and we broke out right here, which that was our move up, and I do believe we're gonna at least test the top of this falling channel, if not test the top of the rising or the bottom of the rising channel. Let's look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour, if we look at this falling channel that we've been following since April when we had our big move, and you can see all the falling channels we've had in it and broken out of, and our wedges. And if that's interesting to you and you want to learn that, go back and watch the videos all through the year. I think you'll be able to learn a lot from them. But it does look like we are about to top out here. That doesn't mean that we're done with this Litecoin rise that we're in now. We're, you know, get some hidden bullish divergence, reset the RSI, and continue back up. So let's look at the price action and see what that's telling us. All right, I know the charts look kind of messy, guys. I didn't have time to run through them this morning before, you know, I started this stream. So we'll just take a look at what's going on. We've been in this falling channel here. We had a smaller falling channel, which we broke out of. And our target of the breakout of that was the 103. And that's right around where we're at now. We went a little higher, but we're going to take a look at the next target, and that would be measuring from the top of this channel, bottom of this channel, and that gets us from where we broke out to around the 111 range. Now I want to look at this bigger channel right here that we fell out of, this top line being resistance, bottom line being support. We broke out here, and that gets me up to that. We actually broke out over here. That gets me up to the 128 range. So I'm definitely looking at those targets as of now, guys. As you can see where we're at now, I do want to look at the bearish case scenario, guys. If we were to fall from here, I do see support at the $83 range, and if that was to break, as you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, my ultimate low here is the $62 range, which is the long-term trend line from when we bottomed out back in December. Excuse me. So definitely I'm looking at these now, and then like I said, a test of the 146 and the bullish case scenario. If we break that, we are definitely headed towards the 270 range. But again, keep in mind, you know, the bearish case here. Even though I think that's a lot less likely, I do believe we're going up to these targets, and I will keep you updated daily, and I do live streams whenever possible, so definitely make sure your notification bell is ticked so you get notified when I do them. So anyways, yeah, that's Litecoin. Let's look at Bitcoin. Same thing, we were making higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI, hidden bullish divergence in the weekly. Let's look at the daily. And as you can see, I had it at 11.7, but if you belong to my Discord group, I was calling 11.9 in there last night, and we almost hit it. We hit about 11.873, somewhere in that range. So if we break this line, which is possible, we could continue up from here. But I do believe we're going to come back down and test a little bit lower. But let's look at the longer term targets, and then we'll go in and look at the short term. All right, so as you can see, I have these targets here, the 11.7, which actually came around the 11.9. Our target for that is around the 16,000 if we were to break out from here, guys. And if we look at this as a, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see, we look at this as a flagpole, and this being the flag, and we break out from where we're at now, we're looking at about the 18,000 to 18,200 range if we are to break out from where we're at now, which I do believe we're in for a correction to around 11,000. I'll show you why in the more immediate price action. But then we're going to take a look at what was to happen if we are to get to this 16. Let's do a measured move real quick from the $16,000 range and look at what my target would be. From there would be around the $28,000 range, and depending on where we break this top trend line, obviously this goes up further, so we'll keep an eye on that. Like I said, I like to do daily updates, so I will keep you guys informed on what's going on, in my opinion. Let's look at the RSI now, and we're going to take a look at some pretty interesting things I showed in the live stream yesterday. All right, so we had this rising channel we fell out of in a wedge here, broke out of the wedge, came back, rode the top down, made another wedge, and now we've broken out. This is, I'm going to show you why I believe we're going to correct here. Now, real quick, we'll run through this. We've been looking at this as a inverted head and shoulders here, then forming another one, and now forming another one. And I do believe we'll correct a little bit and continue on up. Now, one other thing I want to point out is keep an eye on each one of these. This is hidden bullish divergence too. Let me get that out of here. All right. So if we look at it, like I said, that's hidden bullish divergence too. We're getting lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price action. If we take a look at each one of these areas where we came down the tip of the inverse head and shoulders, there was a W. Let's take a look at the next one. Whoops. Dang it. Sorry, guys. Let's take a look at the next one. Right here, W. Let's take a look at the next one. Each time there's a W, then we have a huge rise. Right here, W. Bam. So I'm going to go into the 4-hour RSI now and take a look at that. Let me get this stuff off the screen real quick. I don't like keeping that stuff on there. So, all right. So I do believe we're probably most likely headed up. The RSI is going to head up here, which is going to be our high. which will end up breaking this high in my opinion. Let's look at that 4-hour RSI real quick. So on the 4-hour RSI, we do still have room to move up. But yeah, we have, let's see, let's take a look at what's going on here. This could be a rising, broadening wedge here. And I'm not 100% sure of this, guys, but it does look like we're about to turn over and reset the RSIs, which would follow along with the daily. But yeah, it looks like a rising, broadening wedge here. So keep an eye on this, guys. Let's look at the more immediate price action and look at our targets. We'll take a look at the bearish case scenario first, and then we'll move on to the bullish. Bearish case, we move all the way down to this trend line here on this correction, which we'll move this up now. I'd look at the first stop around 9,800, which would be the bottom of this channel you see in here in the thin white lines. And then, as you guys know, I have this thick white line here drawn in as the trend reversal, and that was right here around the 6650 range, which was also old resistance back in the bear market before we broke down. So once we broke that, that's definitely a confirmation of the bull market, even though back in December I was calling the bottom. But let's look at what's going on now. So like I said, looking at 98 to be the support here if we were to come down, guys. Again, this is a bearish case. I do not believe we're going down this far. If that broke, the next point of support would be around the $9,500 range. And if that was to break, then we're looking at the 8,500 to 8,600, which everybody has been calling forever, and I don't believe we're going that low, but that would also line up with this bottom trend line. So definitely possible, but I believe we're in the more bullish case scenario, and I'm going to show you why and where I think we're headed. You can see this dotted line here, which is a neckline of this Adam and Eve that we've formed here. And if we take a measured move of that to where we broke out, that gets us up to the 12,980 range to, let's just say, 13,000 to make it easy. So we're looking at moving up to 13,000 as a measured move off here. Now, from where we're at now, as you can see, we broke off on top of this rising, broadening wedge here and broke out of this. If you belong to the Discord, you know yesterday I was last night I was up with you guys and called this target right here at 11.9, and I'll show you real quick how I did that. All that is measuring this channel here that we've broken out of, and if we put that to the breakout, that gets us right up to that 11.9. That's where the target was. So just so you guys know how I got that, let me get that out of there now. Now we are in a very tight range here. If this top of this channel holds, and that's around the 11,550 to 11,600, somewhere in there, and we bounce around in here, that could form a bull flag, and the measured move off of that would be, if we were to break out over in this area somewhere. Again, guys, I believe we're going to come back down and correct to around the 11,050 range, but if we do stay in here and create this little bull flag, then we're looking at the 12,550 range. Like I said, I believe we're going to correct all the way back down. Normally, when you break out of a Adam and Eve like this, you break out and you come back down and test the neckline, which would be around the $11,000 range. And then once we do that, then we can, continue up from there, and that would get us to our higher targets that we looked at earlier. The first one being 13,000, and if we're to break that, looking at 16 to 18,000, and then moving on to much higher highs for our new yearly all-time highs. So that's what I'm looking at there. Now let's take a look at my favorite charts, the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart. Here's where we are now. Here's my end of the year target, 46 to 47,000, and I'll show you why in a minute when we click over to the gold chart. But I do want to point out I drew this new trend line in here on the top, and that just goes from this peak to this peak. And this is probably going to be some resistance while breaking up. But if you were watching yesterday, you know I said once we broke this white trend line that is from old support in the bear market, also the blue is old support that we broke out of, and then we were flirting with this white trend line here, and I had said once we broke above this, I highly doubt that we go back down below it, and I still stand by that, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But keep an eye on this formation. Look at the where we broke out. I drew a trend line from both of these peaks to the 6,000 range where we broke down, and before we broke back through that, we had two touches on the bottom, on this bottom support line. Now I'm going to click back and forth from the gold weekly to the Bitcoin daily chart and see if you can see the pattern that I believe is going to play out. Amazing resemblance, guys. Absolutely freaking amazing. And I do believe this is where we're headed by the end of the year. So, yeah. And if you look, same thing. I drew the trend lines from both peaks to where gold broke down. Whoops, I'm not on gold. But I drew the trend line from both peaks where gold broke down. And you can see, same thing as in Bitcoin. We had two touches on the bottom before shooting to all-time highs. Gold's doing pretty good right now, by the way. But the next point of resistance I see gold at is about 1525. Anyways, back to Bitcoin. So anyways, yeah, now you guys see how I got that target. And I still stand by it fully. I do believe, like in here, once we cross this line, which is this line in Bitcoin, which is around 13.5, we'll go up to probably our 16,000, somewhere in there, maybe higher. Come back down, retest it one more time, just like we did in gold, and to the moon. Yeah, that's what I'm calling now. Let's look at the RSI, which we've also been following. We've been following this whole pattern since, let me go back and show you where. Since way back in here, which was in January. So before it even broke out of this wedge. We've been following this since there. Let's look at the weekly RSI. Now I've pointed out the last few days, look at the resemblance in this weekly RSI right here and right here. Amazing resemblance. This is what I see coming. Something like this. And this bull market could last all the way to 2021, 2022, somewhere in that range. And guys, when I say my target is 46,000 by the end of the year, that's not the end of the bull run target. That's just the end of this year. I do see 6 digits within the next year or two. So let's look at the RSI here. I draw on these two trend lines. This one is from the 2013 bull market, followed by the bear market, 2 touches of resistance before breaking through, starting the bull market. 2017 bull market, followed by the bear market, 2 touches of resistance before starting the bull market. Let's look at the monthly RSI. Looking at the monthly RSI, this is the 2013 bull market. You can see the 2 arcs I have drawn here, followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows representing a new low in the RSI before starting the bull market. There was 4 lows. 2017 bull market, followed by the bear market. Each arrow representing a new low in the RSI. There were 4 lows before starting the bull market. Only difference is, guys, this may be way quicker. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And definitely, if you want to be updated daily, definitely subscribe by clicking the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. Tick the notification bell to get you notified. Make sure your notifications are on so you get notified when I post new videos. Also, smash the likes, leave your comments. Let me know what you think of the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great month.